The desert stretched endlessly, a sea of golden sand rolling beneath the heat of the sun. To most, it was a place of silence and emptiness, where the wind carved patterns on dunes that would shift again the next day. But to Aaron and his team, the desert was alive with mystery. They were not there for the beauty of the sand or the burning air. They had come for something hidden, something that had waited for thousands of years. Aaron wiped the sweat from his forehead as he adjusted the scanner in his hands. The small device gave off faint pulses, and every now and then the screen showed a strange reading. He frowned, looking at it again. "The signal is stronger here," he said, his voice calm but heavy with curiosity. Mira walked beside him, her notebook pressed tightly to her chest. She was young, full of energy and questions, always eager to record every detail. "It doesn't make sense," she said. "There should be nothing under the sand. The desert is too old, too dry. No one has ever found structures this far out." Thomas, their engineer, walked a few steps behind, his tool bag clinking with every stride. "Unless the structure is not built of stone," he said. "What if it is something else? Something that doesn't belong here?" The words lingered in the hot air and everyone grew silent. Aaron looked over the dunes, his eyes narrowing. For weeks, their equipment had picked up strange signals, faint pulses of energy buried deep below the sand. Most would have dismissed it as an error, but Aaron trusted his instincts. Something lay beneath them, and it was not natural. As the sun reached its peak, the wind suddenly changed. Strong gusts rushed over the dunes, lifting sand into the air. The team covered their faces, struggling to see. Then, through the storm of dust, Mira's voice cried out, "Look, over there." Aaron followed her gaze. A dark shape jutted from the sand, sharp against the golden background. The storm passed as quickly as it had come, leaving behind a still silence. Slowly they approached. The closer they came, the more they realized what it was. It was the tip of a structure, its surface shining faintly under the sunlight. Unlike stone, it reflected the light in strange patterns, almost metallic yet older than anything they had ever seen. Aaron reached out his hand and touched it. The surface was cool, smooth, and unmarked by time. He drew back in awe. "This is no ordinary ruin," Aaron whispered. Mira knelt down, brushing the sand away with careful hands. Symbols appeared on the surface, etched in long, flowing lines. Some looked almost like human letters, others curved in ways no known script could. Her eyes widened. "It's a language," she said softly. "Part human, part something else. It feels alive." Thomas ran his hand along the exposed corner. "Whatever it has been buried for thousands of years. And yet, it looks untouched. No rust, no cracks. As if it was waiting for us, the team began working quickly. Using shovels and tools, they cleared the sand away little by little. Hours passed. By evening, a large section of the structure stood revealed, a wall sloping down, its edges sharp, its surface gleaming. The more they uncovered, the more it became clear. This was not just a building. It was a pyramid, but unlike any pyramid on Earth. Lena, the quietest member of the group, finally spoke, her voice filled with wonder. "We are the first to see this in 4,000 years. The desert night soon settled over them. Stars filled the sky, bright and endless above the silent dunes. The team gathered around a small fire, their eyes fixed on the dark shape of the pyramid now visible against the sand. No one spoke for a long time. The weight of their discovery pressed on them. Finally, Mira broke the silence. "What if this is not from Earth? The symbols, the material, it doesn't fit anything we know." Aaron looked at her, his face thoughtful. "We cannot assume yet." "But you are right, it feels different. Like it was not built by the same hands that built the pyramids we know." Thomas leaned forward, his eyes bright. "And if it is not human, then why is it here? Why build it in the middle of a desert, then bury it for thousands of years?" The fire crackled as they sat in silence again. Above them, the stars seemed to shine brighter as if watching. The next morning, the team returned to work with renewed determination. They set up equipment, scanners, and floodlights to aid them. As they dug deeper, they uncovered an entrance. It was a large triangular doorway sealed by a smooth slab of the same strange metal. Carvings lined the edges, glowing faintly when touched. Mira placed her palm on the surface, and the glow spread outward like ripples on water. She gasped. "It responds to touch." The others gathered quickly. Aaron examined the glowing patterns, his heart beating faster. "This is not just a tomb or a monument. It is technology." Thomas pressed his ear to the metal door. He swore he heard a faint hum, like the heartbeat of a machine that had never stopped. "It's still alive." he said in a hushed voice. The team worked all day trying to open the entrance. They scanned it, tested it, even tried mechanical tools, but nothing moved the great slab. It remained sealed, as if waiting for the right command. As the sun set, frustration grew, but so did curiosity. That night, as the others rested, Aaron stayed awake, staring at the pyramid. The desert was quiet, the air cool. He thought about the markings, the glow, the hum beneath the surface. Something about the place felt alive, almost aware of their presence. He could not shake the feeling that they were being watched, not by people but by the pyramid itself. The following day, Mira suggested a new approach. If it responds to touch, maybe it needs more than just one hand. Maybe it needs us all together. Aaron considered this. They gathered at the door, each placing their hand on the glowing patterns. Slowly, the lines of light spread and connected, forming a single shape across the surface. The pyramid trembled softly, the hum growing louder. With a deep rumble, the great slab slid open, revealing a dark passage leading inside. A rush of cold air poured out, smelling of stone, metal, and something ancient. The team stood frozen, staring into the blackness. Aaron took a deep breath. This is it. The world has forgotten this place, but it has been waiting, and now it has been revealed. Their torches flickered to life, casting light into the darkness. Together they stepped inside, leaving the desert sun behind. The silence of the desert returned as if nothing had happened. But beneath the sands, the forgotten pyramid had awakened, and its secrets were about to change everything humanity knew. The air inside the pyramid was colder than the desert outside. It carried the smell of age, of dust untouched by time, and of metal that seemed alive. Aaron's footsteps echoed softly as he led the way through the dark corridor. Their torches painted trembling shapes on the walls, and Mira followed closely behind, her eyes darting to the strange carvings that lined the passage. Thomas ran his hand along the surface of the walls. It feels like stone in some places and metal in others, he whispered. How could something be both? Lena, holding the scanner, frowned at the readings. The energy inside is strong. It's not just a ruin. Something here is still working. The corridor stretched deeper until it opened into a vast chamber. The team froze at the sight before them. Symbols glowed faintly on the walls, arranged in patterns like constellations. At the center of the room stood tall pillars, each shaped with smooth edges that curved toward the ceiling. The air vibrated gently as though the room itself breathed. This is not just architecture, Mira said softly. It feels like a machine. Aaron studied the pillars. They hummed faintly, a rhythm too soft to be heard clearly but strong enough to be felt in their chests. He placed his hand on one and the glow of the symbols grew brighter. The chamber responded to his touch. The pyramid is alive, Tomas muttered. The team moved cautiously from one side of the chamber to the other. Mira took notes quickly, her hands shaking with excitement. She had spent years studying languages, but what she saw here was beyond any system of writing she had known. The symbols shifted as if rearranging themselves, trying to be understood. It's learning from us, Mira said. It is trying to communicate, Aaron nodded. Then let us listen. As they moved deeper into the structure, the walls began to light up on their own. Faint lines of light spread along the floor, guiding them. The air grew colder, but the glow warmed their path. The pyramid seemed to want them to go further. They entered another chamber, smaller but filled with strange machines. Large shapes stood silent against the walls like tall statues of unknown origin. Tubes and lines ran across the ceiling, pulsing faintly with blue light. The place felt less like a tomb and more like a chamber of sleeping giants. Thomas crouched beside one of the machines, studying it closely. It's built with a design I've never seen. Not human, not from any known civilization. But the joints, the edges, the panels, they look as if they were meant to move. Mira stood back, staring. They're not statues. They're machines, waiting for something. The silence of the chamber pressed heavily on them. Arun moved carefully toward the center, where a raised platform stood. On it rested a smooth panel covered in more of the glowing patterns. He reached out but stopped himself. He looked back at his team. If I touch this, something may happen. We must be ready. Lena hesitated, fear in her eyes. Ready for what? We don't even know what this place is. Aaron's voice was steady. We came here to uncover the truth. This pyramid has waited for 4,000 years. If it responds to us, then perhaps it was meant to be found. We cannot turn away now. Slowly, he placed his palm on the panel. The reaction was instant. The walls shuddered. The machines vibrated and light exploded through the chamber. The symbols lit up brighter than ever before, racing across the walls and ceiling. The ground trembled beneath their feet. "Arun," Mira cried, but Arun held his hand steady. The hum grew into a deep pulse, filling the air with sound and energy. A beam of light shot upward from the center of the platform, piercing through the ceiling as if the stone and metal were nothing. Outside, the desert night lit up as the beam rose into the sky, cutting through clouds and reaching into the stars. The team staggered back, shielding their eyes. The machines along the walls stirred. Some shifted slightly, their joints creaking after ages of silence. A deep sound echoed from them, not a voice, not words, but something alive. "It's awakening," Thomas whispered in awe. Mira's heart raced. The pyramid was not just buried. It was sealed, waiting to be opened. The rumble settled, but the glow remained. The beam of light still shot skyward, a signal burning across the heavens. Arun pulled his hand back at last, his chest heaving. He looked at the others. "We have changed something. The world outside will see that light." The team hurried out of the chamber, following the glowing lines that led them back toward the entrance. When they emerged into the desert night, the sight left them speechless. The pyramid, once buried and forgotten, now glowed with veins of light running along its surface. The beam reached into the sky, so bright it turned night into day. The stars seemed to bend around it. The desert winds roared louder as if stirred by the awakening of the ancient structure. Lena stared upward, her voice trembling. "That is not just a light. It's a message." Aaron's gaze was firm, though his heart was heavy with the weight of what they had unleashed. A message to whom? No one answered because no one knew. Hours passed and the light did not fade. The world had noticed. Far away, satellites captured images of the desert, showing the shining beacon to the entire planet. Messages spread across nations. Scientists argued, governments panicked, and millions watched the sky with fear and wonder. But in the desert, it was only Aaron and his team who stood at the base of the pyramid, closest to the truth. By dawn, they gathered again inside the chamber, unable to sleep. The machine still hummed softly, and the patterns on the walls shifted like a language in motion. Mira sat cross-legged, sketching the symbols as fast as she could. "I think the pyramid is more than a machine," she said. "It is a key." "But a key to what?" Thomas shook his head. "A key, a signal, or a trap? We don't know. But I do know this. Something out there has seen our light." Lena shivered. "And if they come here? What if they are not friendly?" Aaron listened to their words, but he said nothing for a long time. He stood in the center of the chamber, staring at the glowing platform. He remembered the silence of the desert, the way the pyramid had waited. This was not by accident. The structure had been built to endure time, to hide until humanity was ready or curious enough to find it. At last he spoke. "Whether friend or foe, they will come. The pyramid has called to them, and they will answer. What we have done cannot be undone." The chamber pulsed again, a low thrum that shook the air. The team looked around nervously. Mira whispered, "It knows we are here." The walls glowed brighter as if in response. Symbols gathered into one great spiral on the far wall. At the center of the spiral, an image appeared, a star, shining with strange energy. Aaron stepped closer, his breath caught in his throat. "It's showing us where the signal goes," he said. "That star is not ours. It is out there, far away." The realization sank into the hearts of the team. The pyramid was not only awakening, it was reaching across the galaxy. That night, as the desert cooled under the blanket of stars, the forgotten pyramid stood alive once more. The light from its peak burned into the heavens, a silent call across the universe. Humanity had uncovered a secret that had slept for 4,000 years, and now the stars were listening. Aaron stood at the entrance, the wind tugging at his clothes. His team rested behind him, but he could not sleep. His eyes followed the beam into the sky. For the first time in his life, he felt that humanity was not alone, and soon the proof of that would arrive. The desert was no longer silent. Since the night the beam of light rose from the pyramid, the world had changed. Cameras, satellites, and even military drones circled the skies above. Governments had sent their people to study the site, but none could explain the strange energy flowing from the ancient structure. Arun and his team, the first to enter the pyramid, remained inside its camp. Though surrounded now by soldiers and scientists, they were still the closest to the truth. Arun could feel the weight of every eye on them. The world demanded answers, but he had few to give. Each night the beam of light continued to burn, bright enough to turn the desert into day. Each day the hum of the pyramid grew louder, as if the structure was waiting. Mira spent her hours with the glowing symbols, trying to decode them. She filled page after page with drawings and notes. "The language is alive," she told Arun one evening. "It changes depending on how I look at it, as if it learns my thoughts." Thomas walked past rows of machines inside the chambers. He touched their smooth surfaces, hearing faint movements within. "They're waking slowly," he muttered. "But not fully. It's like they're waiting for a command." Lena stayed close to the entrance, her eyes always on the sky. She felt uneasy since the awakening, as if something was moving in the heavens. "The beam is not just light," she whispered. "It's a call, and someone is listening." Arun heard them all, and he knew Lena was right. Days passed, and then one night the waiting ended. It was Mira who first saw it. She had stepped outside for fresh air when she froze. A bright shape glided across the stars, silent and smooth, brighter than any plane or satellite. Then another followed, and another. Soon the night sky was full of them, glowing vessels descending toward Earth. Her shout brought the others running. They stood together, staring upward as the silent fleet moved closer. Their shapes were unlike anything human hands had ever built. Some were long and sharp like blades of light. Others were round, glowing with blue fire. They moved without sound, without wings, without engines. The soldiers around the camp raised their weapons. Scientists shouted into radios, voices filled with panic. The world was watching, and fear spread quickly. But Arun did not move. His eyes remained on the descending ships. "They have come," he said quietly. The vessels slowed as they neared the desert. One larger than the rest drifted down, casting a great shadow across the sand. It stopped above the pyramid, hovering with no sound. Light spilled from its underside, covering the ancient structure. Then the impossible happened. The sealed doorway of the pyramid opened wider on its own, glowing brighter than ever before. Inside, the machines stirred, their joints shifting. Arun and his team ran back into the chamber, following the vibration that shook the floor. From the platform in the center of the room, a beam of light rose once more, but this time it did not shoot into the sky. Instead, it spread across the chamber and formed shapes. Figures appeared, tall and slender, their bodies covered in light. They were not like any human, yet they were not monstrous. Their eyes glowed like polished stone, deep and calm. Their movements were graceful, almost like flowing water. Mira gasped, her voice shaking. They are here." The figures looked at the humans. Their faces held no anger, no threat, only a strange stillness. One stepped forward, its voice not spoken but carried into their minds. "We are the Seekers," the voice said. "This world has awakened the beacon. After 4,000 years, the time has come." Arun's chest tightened. He forced his voice to remain steady. "Why did you build this pyramid?" "Why leave it buried?" The figure's glowing eyes shifted to him. "Long ago, when your kind was still young, we walked among you. We gave seeds of knowledge, sparks of understanding. But we could not stay. We left the beacon so that when your kind had grown, when your spirit was ready, you would call us again." Mira stepped forward. You gave us knowledge? The early builders, the first civilizations, was it you?" The figure nodded slowly. "We guided, but we did not rule. The choice of growth was always yours." The chamber grew silent as the weight of the words settled on them. Humanity's history, its rise from dust to cities, had not been alone. But the Seekers had not taken credit. They had waited, testing to see if humanity would rise without their hand. Thomas crossed his arms, his voice sharp. "If you gave us knowledge, why come back now? What do you want from us?" The figure's eyes glowed brighter. "We return not to take, but to see. To know if humanity has grown strong enough to join the greater path. The beacon is a test. You have awakened it. Now you must prove yourselves." Lena's heart pounded. "And if we fail?" The figure's voice grew softer, yet heavy with meaning. "Then the beacon will sleep again. For another 1,000 years." The machines along the walls stirred once more, as if alive. The chamber's light grew brighter, symbols shifting into patterns that none of them had seen before. The figures of the Seekers began to fade, but their voices remained. "Prepare. The trials will begin." Then they were gone, leaving silence behind. Arun looked at his team. Mira's hands trembled as she clutched her notebook. Thomas paced in frustration, muttering to himself. Lena's eyes remained fixed on the ceiling, fear in her gaze. Arun spoke firmly. "This is why we found the pyramid. This is why it waited. Humanity is being tested. The days that followed were restless. Ships of the Seekers hovered above Earth, silent but watchful. Around the world, people panicked and prayed, celebrated and feared. Some saw them as gods returned, others as threats. But in the desert, Aaron's team prepared for what was to come. Inside the pyramid, the chambers changed. Walls shifted to form new paths. Glowing patterns guided them deeper. Each night, the hum of the machines grew louder, as if the heart of the structure beat faster. Mira worked endlessly to study the language. "It is not fixed," she told them. "The symbols change with our progress. It is guiding us, but also watching how we respond." Thomas tested the machines, learning their edges and movements. He found that they only responded when more than one person touched them together. "It demands cooperation," he said. "It does not want strength of one. It wants strength of many." Lena grew more silent, often sitting by herself at the edge of the chambers. She felt the weight of the trials pressing down. In her heart, she wondered if humanity could truly prove itself. One evening, Arun gathered them all. "We may be the first, but we are not only representing ourselves. The Seekers are testing all of humanity through us. Every step we take will show them what kind of people we are. If we stand together, we can succeed." They nodded, though fear remained in their eyes. That night, as they slept, the pyramid stirred once more. The walls glowed, the air trembled, and a deep voice echoed inside their minds. "The time has come. Step forward. The first trial awaits." Aaron rose to his feet, his heart steady despite the storm inside him. He looked at his team, Mira, Thomas, and Lena. Each carried fear, but also courage. Together, they stepped toward the chamber's center, ready to face what waited. Outside, the great ships of the Seekers hovered silently in the sky, watching. The world below held its breath. Humanity's trial was about to begin. The pyramid was alive with light. As Aaron and his team stood in the center of the chamber, the walls shifted once more, sliding apart with a sound like stone grinding against stone. A new passage revealed itself, glowing with pale blue lines that curved into the darkness. The voice of the Seekers echoed in their minds. "Step forward. Show us who you are." Aaron led the way, his torch in hand, though he hardly needed it. The walls glowed brightly, casting light on their faces. Mira followed closely, her notebook clutched to her chest while Thomas carried his tools and Lena kept her scanner steady. Together they moved deeper into the heart of the pyramid. The passage opened into a vast chamber unlike anything they had seen before. The ceiling arched high above, filled with shifting constellations of light that resembled stars. The floor was smooth and polished, with circles carved into it like paths. At the far end stood 3 tall doors, each marked with different glowing symbols. Mira whispered, "It looks like choices." The voice returned, calm yet firm. "The path you take will show us your nature. Strength, wisdom, or unity. Choose." Aaron studied the 3 doors. The first glowed red with sharp angles. The second glowed green with flowing curves, and the third glowed white with a circle at its center. He turned to his team. "Strength, wisdom, or unity? What should we choose?" Thomas crossed his arms. "Strength. If this is a test, we must prove we can face danger." Mira shook her head quickly. "No, wisdom. These people gave us knowledge long ago. They will expect us to show that we can think, not just fight." Lena spoke softly, but her words were clear. "Unity. Every step we took in this place has required us to work together. The machines, the doors, even the language, it only responds when we stand as one." Aaron listened to them all, his mind weighing their words. Finally, he nodded. "Unity, that is what makes us human. Not one strength, not one mind, but all of us together." They placed their hands on the white door. The circle of light expanded outward and the door slid open silently. Inside was darkness, deep and endless. They stepped through. The chamber beyond was vast and empty, but as soon as they entered, the floor shifted. Paths of light spread beneath their feet, breaking the ground into floating platforms suspended over a black abyss. Each platform glowed faintly, but the gaps between them were wide. Tomas frowned. "It's impossible. We can't jump this far." Mira studied the glowing lines that connected the platforms. "Look, the light changes when we move closer. It responds to us." Aaron took a deep breath and stepped forward. The platform beneath his feet brightened, and the next one ahead slid closer, narrowing the gap. He turned to the others. "It only moves when we act together. Come, step with me." The 4 of them aligned themselves, moving step by step in unison. Each time they matched their pace, the platform shifted, creating a bridge across the abyss. But when Tomas grew impatient and stepped ahead of the others, the path flickered and vanished, leaving a gap once more. "Wait!" Aaron shouted. "We must move as one." Tomas cursed under his breath, but he stepped back in line. With careful movement, the team advanced slowly across the chamber. Sweat ran down their faces, not from heat, but from the weight of the test. One mistake could mean falling into the endless dark below. Halfway across, Lena's foot slipped. She stumbled, nearly falling, but Thomas caught her arm in time. His earlier frustration vanished as he pulled her close. "I've got you. Don't give up." Her eyes were wide with fear, but she nodded, and together they steadied themselves. The platforms glowed brighter, as if rewarding their unity. At last, they reached the far side. The floor solidified beneath their feet, and the abyss vanished as if it had never been there. The Seeker's voice filled the chamber. "You understand the path of unity, but unity is not enough. You must face truth." Another door opened, revealing a second chamber. This one was filled with mirrors, tall and endless, reflecting their images over and over. The air was cool and the silence heavy. As they stepped inside, the mirrors shimmered. Their reflections moved on their own, stepping forward without them. Mira gasped. "They're alive?" The reflections spoke, their voices sharp and cold. They whispered doubts, fears, and anger. Thomas's reflection sneered at him. "You are weak without your tools. You fix machines, but you cannot fix yourself." Lena's reflection stared back with cold eyes. "You fear everything. You slow them down. You don't belong here." Mira's reflection hissed. "You search for answers, but you will never understand. Knowledge is wasted on you." And Aaron's reflection stepped forward, its voice low and cutting. "You pretend to lead, but you doubt yourself. You will fail them all." The real team froze, their hearts racing. The chamber echoed with their own insecurities, magnified and cruel. Mira clutched her head. "It's not true. It's not true." Aaron stepped toward her, his voice steady. "It is not truth, it is fear. They are showing us what we believe in our darkest moments." But Thomas shouted at his reflection, anger burning in his voice. "I am more than this. I am not weak." He punched the mirror, but the reflection only smiled. The chamber darkened and the voices grew louder. The reflection stepped closer, threatening to surround them. Lena trembled, her hands shaking. I can't fight them." Aaron stood tall, his voice strong. "We don't fight them. We face them together." He placed his hand on the mirror before him. The reflection glared back, but Arun spoke calmly. "Yes, I doubt myself. Yes, I fear failure. But I am more than my fear. And we are stronger together." The mirror glowed and his reflection faded. Mira, inspired, stepped forward. She pressed her hand to her reflection. "I may not understand everything, but I will keep learning. That is who I am." Her reflection vanished. Thomas and Lena followed, each facing their fears. Slowly, the chamber filled with light as the reflections disappeared one by one. At last, the mirrors dissolved into dust, leaving only a single path forward. The Seeker's voice returned. "You have faced yourselves. Unity and truth are your strength. One final test remains." The final chamber opened. Inside was a great sphere of light suspended above the ground, pulsing like a heart. Around it floated fragments of stone and metal, moving in chaotic patterns. The room vibrated with energy and the air hummed loudly. Mira stared in awe. "It looks alive." Aaron stepped forward, shielding his eyes from the brightness. "This must be the heart of the pyramid." The Seeker's voice filled the chamber once more. "This is the key. It holds the power to open your world to others. But it can only be touched by hands joined together. Alone it will destroy you. Together it will awaken." The fragments began to spin faster, creating walls of light and shadow. The path to the sphere was blocked by shifting obstacles, glowing with dangerous energy. Thomas cursed softly. "If we touch those, we're finished." Aaron took a deep breath. "Then we must move together." Step by step, hand in hand, they formed a line, gripping each other's wrists tightly. Slowly, they moved forward, timing their steps with the rhythm of the spinning fragments. When one ducked, they all ducked. When one stepped, they all stepped. The obstacles grazed them, but none let go. Finally, they reached the sphere. The energy pulsed wildly, shaking the chamber. Aaron raised his hand. "Together!" Mira, Thomas, and Lena placed their hands with his. The moment they touched the sphere, the room exploded with light. The fragments vanished, the hum grew silent, and the pyramid glowed brighter than ever before. The sphere pulsed gently under their hands, calm now, as if it had accepted them. The Seeker's voice returned, softer this time. You have passed the trials. You have shown unity, faced your truth, and chosen together. Humanity is ready for the final choice. The sphere floated down, resting gently on the platform before them. It was small now, the size of a heart, glowing softly. Arun lifted it carefully, his team standing close. He felt its warmth in his hands like the weight of destiny. The trials were over. But the greatest decision still lay ahead. The chamber glowed with calm light. The sphere of energy rested in Arun's hands, warm and steady, no longer wild or dangerous. Around him stood Mira, Tomas, and Lena, their faces lit by the soft glow. They had passed the trials, but they all knew this was not the end. The voice of the Seekers filled the room once more, not loud now, but clear and thoughtful. You have shown unity, truth, and strength of heart. You hold the key. With it, your world may open the gate and join the stars. But every choice carries a cost. You must decide if humanity is ready. Silence fell across the chamber. The four explorers looked at each other, unsure what to say. Mira spoke first, her voice quiet but filled with wonder. This is what every dreamer wanted. To know we are not alone. To share our knowledge and learn from others. Tomas shook his head. His voice was low and firm. Or to bring danger? What if opening this gate brings war instead of peace? What if other worlds do not see us as equals but as prey? We have seen how humanity treats itself. Are we ready to face others? Lena clutched her scanner close, her eyes thoughtful. But if we turn away, what then? We would hide forever. Knowledge buried again beneath the sand. Is fear greater than hope? Arun said nothing at first. He held the sphere, feeling its gentle pulse. It seemed alive, as if listening to their words. His heart was heavy, for the choice was not his alone. It was for all of humanity. We cannot decide in anger or fear, he said finally. We must decide as one. That is what the Seekers asked of us. The sphere pulsed brighter, as if agreeing. The chamber walls shifted once more. The stars above the ceiling glowed and moved, forming shapes and stories across the sky. Images appeared all around them, shining like memories. They saw the great pyramids rising long ago, people of Earth looking to the heavens with hope. They saw wars, fire, and destruction. They saw people reaching across oceans, building bridges, curing sickness, sending ships to the stars. The Seekers spoke again. You have grown in darkness and in light. You have fought and built, destroyed and healed. Now you stand at the edge of the stars. What will you choose? Mira's eyes filled with tears as she watched the visions. We are not perfect, but no one is. We learn because we try. Tomas clenched his fists. And yet we fall again and again. If we open this gate too soon, we may bring ruin. Lena's voice was soft but steady. Or we may bring hope. What if there are others like us waiting for the same chance? Arun closed his eyes, thinking of his team, of humanity, of the long path that had brought them here. When he opened them again, his voice was calm. Then let us choose not for fear, but for the best of who we are. Not because we are perfect, but because we are ready to try. He placed the sphere at the center of the platform. The others laid their hands upon it. The light spread outward, filling the chamber with a brilliance that washed away the shadows. The walls shook gently, and a sound like rushing wind filled the air. Above them, the ceiling opened, revealing the desert sky. The stars shone bright, clearer than ever, as if the whole world was watching. From the heart of the pyramid, a beam of light rose into the heavens. It was not violent, but steady and pure, like a pillar reaching for the stars. Across the desert, people would see it. Across the world, telescopes and satellites would detect it. The Seeker's voice spoke one last time. The gate has been awakened. The choice has been made. Walk with courage, children of Earth, the stars will answer. Then the voice faded, leaving only silence. The four explorers stood together, staring at the beam of light as it reached higher, vanishing into the endless sky. None of them spoke for a long time. Finally, Thomas let out a slow breath. There is no turning back now. Mira smiled faintly, though her eyes still shone with tears. Good. Let the stars know who we are, Lena whispered. I wonder what will come. Friend or stranger, teacher or rival. Aaron looked at them, then at the light above. His voice was steady. Whatever comes, we face it together. That is our strength. They left the chamber slowly, the walls closing behind them. The pyramid sealed itself once more, but the glow remained, a faint hum in the sand as if the earth itself was alive. When they emerged from the desert, the night sky was alive with the beam of light. Already cameras from the camp below were pointed upward, voices shouting in confusion and awe. News would spread across the world within hours. Humanity had seen the signal, and somewhere beyond, in the far reaches of space, perhaps others had seen it too. The following weeks were filled with change. The 4 explorers returned to their cities, but they were no longer just archaeologists and scientists. They were witnesses of a new chapter in history. The governments of the world called them, questioned them, demanded answers, yet none could deny the truth. The pyramid had awakened, and the light in the desert could not be hidden. Some nations prepared in fear, building weapons and ships. Others prepared in hope, gathering scientists, teachers, and thinkers to study what might come. People filled the streets with both joy and worry. Children looked to the stars with dreams in their eyes, while elders whispered prayers for safety. The world was divided, but one thing was certain. Humanity could not go back. Arun, Mira, Thomas, and Lena met again weeks later at the site. The pyramid still glowed faintly beneath the sand, though it remained sealed. The beam of light continued to rise each night, a constant reminder of the choice they had made. Mira stood quietly, watching the horizon. "Do you think we did the right thing?" Tomas answered honestly. "I don't know. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday." "Yes," Lena smiled softly, "because it was not just about us. It was about everyone. The chance for something greater." Aaron placed his hand on the warm sand, feeling the faint hum beneath. "The Seekers left this for us to find. They believed we could rise to the challenge. I believe that too." They stood together in silence, listening to the desert wind. Above them, the stars glowed brighter than ever, as if waiting. The choice had been made. The gate was open. The future of humanity no longer lay only on Earth, but among the stars. And so the story of the forgotten pyramid ended, not with silence, but with a signal reaching across the universe, a call to others, a promise, and a challenge. Humanity was ready to be seen. The sands of the desert shifted gently, covering the ancient stone once more. But beneath the surface, the pyramid still pulsed with life, waiting for the day when the stars would finally answer. The desert was quiet, yet alive. Days had passed since the 4 explorers, Aaron, Mira, Thomas, and Lena, had activated the pyramid's key. The beam of light continued to rise into the night sky, stretching beyond the clouds and into the void of space. Governments, scientists, and civilians across the world watched with wonder, fear, and hope. News channels called it the greatest discovery in human history, yet for Aaron and his team, it was only the beginning. Each night, the beam pulsed softly, carrying a rhythm that seemed almost alive. The pyramid beneath the sand remained sealed, but it hummed continuously, like a heart beating patiently. The team returned to the desert as often as possible, observing, recording, and listening. There was no immediate sign of response from the stars, only the knowledge that they had sent a message beyond Earth. Mira sat atop a small dune one evening, her notebook open. She traced patterns in the sand as she thought aloud. The Seekers said the signal would reach others. But what if no one answers? What if it just disappears into space? Aaron sat beside her, silent for a long moment. Then he said, "The stars have heard us. That much we know. Patience is part of the test. Perhaps it takes longer for them to see us, to understand us." Thomas, ever practical, frowned. "Patience is fine, but we can't just wait. We need to prepare. Our world isn't ready to stand still while unknown civilizations watch. If they come, we must be ready." Lena, standing a little apart, raised her gaze to the sky. "And if they don't come? We've shown we are ready, that we are united. Maybe that's enough for now. The key has been accepted, even if there is no reply yet." Days turned into weeks. The world adjusted to the presence of the pyramid's light. People stopped seeing it as a threat and began to see it as a beacon of possibility. Schools held lessons about the discovery. Philosophers debated humanity's place in the cosmos, and ordinary citizens looked to the sky with new curiosity. Then, one night it happened. Mira noticed it first. While scanning the sky with her telescope, a faint pulse of light appeared far beyond the beam. At first it was just a shimmer, almost like a star flickering, but then it moved, slow and deliberate, toward Earth. "Aaron! Thomas! Lena!" Mira shouted, pointing. The others rushed to her side, eyes wide with wonder. Through the telescope, They saw a small vessel of light gliding smoothly, its form unlike anything human technology had ever produced. Its surface shimmered like liquid metal, reflecting the stars as it moved. "It's coming," Lena whispered. Aaron's heart raced. After all these weeks, someone has answered. The key has worked. The vessel descended toward the desert, slowing as it neared the pyramid. Unlike the Seeker's ships, this one was smaller, almost elegant. It hovered silently above the sand, and a gentle light spread across the desert floor. The explorers stood together, silent in awe. Then a sound filled their minds, not words spoken aloud, but a message carried directly into thought. Calm and clear. "Children of Earth," the voice said, "we have received your call. Your signal has reached us. You have shown courage, unity, and a desire for knowledge. We come in friendship as observers and as teachers. Prepare, for the path of the stars awaits." Mira's hands trembled. They speak to us directly. It's not just a message. They can communicate through thought. Thomas stepped forward cautiously. "How do we respond?" Aaron shook his head slowly. "We don't. They already understand. They know we are here, and they know our intention. That is enough for now." The vessel remained in the sky above the pyramid, casting a soft glow over the desert. Slowly, a light bridge extended from the ship toward the key on the platform. The beam of light pulsed gently, almost like an invitation. "This is incredible," Lena said, her voice soft. "It is a bridge. They want us to come, but safely. It is not a weapon, not a trap. It is a way to meet them." Mira's eyes were wide. "We did not expect this. Humanity. We have never had a chance like this before." Aaron placed his hand over the key. "We did exactly what they wanted. We showed our unity. We proved we are ready. Now they are responding." For the first time, the world below seemed to feel the shift. News channels broadcast live images of the desert light and the shimmering vessel. Millions of people watched as the mysterious visitor hovered silently, an alien presence unlike anything humanity had imagined. Panic had begun to fade, replaced by awe and hope. The vessel's light grew brighter, and the thought came to Aaron's mind with clarity. We must prepare. We are not alone, and we are ready to meet them. The four explorers entered the pyramid once more. The air inside hummed softly, responding to their presence. The symbols on the walls shifted, forming patterns that felt familiar, comforting, and alive. It was as if the pyramid itself recognized the moment. Aaron lifted the key from the platform. The sphere pulsed gently, and a light path formed from the chamber to the surface. The explorers moved carefully, following the bridge of light that connected the pyramid, the desert, and the alien vessel above. Outside, the world watched. Governments had set up observation zones, but they were kept at a safe distance. There was no fear of attack, only anticipation. Humanity was witnessing the first contact in history. The vessel hovered closer, its surface reflecting the stars and the golden sands. From within, a figure emerged, tall and luminous, its form similar to the Seekers they had seen before, but different in design. It radiated calm and intelligence, and its eyes seemed to look directly into their minds. "You have reached the threshold," the being said. "Not all species are ready to meet us. You have shown unity and courage. Your world is ready to take the next step. Will you accept our guidance?" Mira stepped forward, her voice steady. "We will. We seek understanding and knowledge. We wish to learn and to grow," Thomas nodded. "We also promise to act with care. We will protect our world and respect others." Lena's voice was quiet yet firm. "We are human, imperfect but willing to work together and to meet the stars." Aaron held the key in his hands. "And we will represent all of humanity. We choose to step forward together." The vessel's light expanded, enveloping them in the pyramid. The desert beneath their feet glowed as if it were alive. The pulse of the pyramid joined with the pulse of the ship, creating a rhythm that felt like the heartbeat of the planet itself. The alien being's voice filled their minds again. "Then step forward. You will travel not just through space, but through understanding. The stars are open to you." With a deep breath, Aaron placed the key at the center of the light bridge. The sphere lifted gently, hovering above the platform. The ground beneath their feet vibrated, but it was a comforting vibration, as if the planet itself approved. Together, the four explorers stepped onto the bridge of light. It carried them upward, smooth and steady, through the pyramid's opening and into the vessel above. Outside, the desert glowed, the pyramid pulsing like a heartbeat in the sand. Inside the ship, the explorers were surrounded by light and warmth. The walls shimmered like liquid crystal, and the air felt alive. The alien being guided them to a chamber filled with displays of stars, galaxies, and other worlds. The pulse of the key resonated with the ship, connecting them to the wider universe. "You will learn from us," the being said, "and through you, your world will learn. Knowledge is a gift, but it requires responsibility. You have proven yourselves capable of choosing wisely. Now the first step begins." Mira's eyes shone with tears. "This is everything we dreamed of. Not just to see, but to understand." Thomas smiled, awe in his face. "And to know that we are not alone. That is worth everything we have faced." Lena stepped closer to Aaron. "We've come so far, and this is just the beginning." Aaron looked out of the ship's viewport. Beneath them, Earth glowed like a jewel, the desert and the pyramid a single shining point. Above, the stars waited, silent, infinite, and patient. The alien voice spoke once more. "Your people will follow when the time is ready. For now, you are the bridge. You are the first step of humanity among the stars." The explorers stood together, holding the key, feeling its warmth, feeling the pulse of the pyramid, feeling the heartbeat of their world, and understanding at last that humanity's future had begun. And far above, in the endless dark, the universe watched and waited to see what humans would do next. The vessel hummed softly as it rose above the desert, carrying Aaron, Mira, Thomas, and Lena into the endless night. Earth shrank below them, the blue oceans and golden deserts merging into a distant jewel against the darkness of space. The key pulsed gently in Aaron's hands, linking the explorers to the pyramid below and to the ship above. Every beat was a reminder of what humanity had achieved and the responsibility now placed upon them. Mira pressed her hands to the vessel's walls, marveling at the stars. "I never imagined it would look like this. So many worlds, so many possibilities." Thomas, ever practical, studied the ship's interior. It was alive yet unfamiliar, with surfaces that shifted under touch and light that responded to thought. "It's incredible, but we need to understand it. If we are to be guides for humanity, we must know how it works." Lena stood near the viewport, silent for a long time. Her voice was soft but steady. "I feel calm. Not afraid. It's as if the ship knows we are ready, and that the universe is waiting for us." Aaron held the key tightly. "We are ready. We have passed the trials, faced our fears, and chosen unity. Now we step beyond our world." The alien being who had guided them from the vessel appeared once more. Its form shimmered like liquid light, and its voice resonated in their minds. "You have shown courage and wisdom. The journey ahead will teach you more than you can imagine. Many worlds exist, many civilizations thrive. Some are friendly, some are cautious, and some are testing themselves like you have tested yours. You will observe, learn, and when the time comes, return knowledge to your people." Mira's eyes widened. "So this is not just for us. This is for all of humanity." The alien nodded, a gentle wave of light flowing across its form. "You are the bridge. You will return when the time is right. But first you must see, experience, and understand. Only then can you guide your world toward the stars safely." The vessel shifted gently, as if the alien's presence had activated a new path. A corridor of light stretched before them, leading toward the stars. Arun stepped forward first, the key illuminating the path ahead. The others followed, their hearts beating with excitement and anticipation. Outside the vessel, the darkness of space was no longer empty. Clouds of stars, nebulae, and swirling galaxies stretched as far as they could see. Bright points of light moved in patterns, some familiar, some strange. It was not just a journey through distance, but through knowledge and understanding. "This is just the beginning," Aaron said. "Every star we see may hold life, may hold knowledge. We must be ready to learn." The ship moved swiftly yet gently, guided by the alien's thought. They passed a small cluster of planets, each glowing faintly with life. On one, oceans shimmered under twin suns. On another, mountains reached impossibly high, and clouds moved in patterns that seemed deliberate, like intelligent design. Mira traced the movements of the stars and planets with her hands. "The universe is vast beyond anything we have imagined, and every world we pass, every world has a story to tell." Thomas adjusted his tools and scanned the vessel's control panels. "We need to understand how to interact with these worlds. The aliens will guide us, but when we return, humans must be prepared to meet them with respect, not fear." The alien spoke again, its voice calm and deep. "Observation alone is not enough. You will face situations that test your judgment, your unity, and your courage. You must make decisions that affect both your world and others. You are ambassadors of Earth. Treat every life, every world with care. Lena stepped closer to Aaron. Do you think humanity is ready for this? For everything that lies ahead? Aaron looked out at the stars, thinking of the pyramid, the desert, and the planet they called home. We are not perfect, but we are capable. We have proven ourselves capable. That is what matters. The ship slowed as it approached a bright, shimmering sphere of light floating in space. The alien guided them toward it, and as they neared, the explorers realized it was a station of some kind, a hub of knowledge. It was enormous yet delicate, suspended among the stars with no visible support. The alien explained, "This is the Nexus. Here, you will learn the histories, languages, and technologies of civilizations across the galaxy. You will observe, record, and understand. Only then can you return with guidance for your people." Aaron, Mira, Thomas, and Lena entered the Nexus carefully. Inside, the air was warm, filled with light that pulsed in rhythm with the ship below. Holographic forms of distant worlds and their inhabitants appeared around them, moving gracefully as if alive. Mira's eyes sparkled. This is a library of the stars. Every civilization, every story, every achievement. All here, Thomas nodded slowly. And challenges, too. We will need to learn from mistakes as well, to understand threats as well as hope. The alien guided them to a chamber with symbols glowing on the floor. Your first lesson begins here. Observe the interactions of civilizations. Understand how trust and unity shape their survival and how conflict threatened them. You will see the consequences of choices made in fear and those made in courage. The explorers stood in silence as the chamber filled with moving images. They saw worlds rising from chaos, civilizations uniting against challenges, and others falling to division and fear. They saw beings of light and beings of stone, beings small and beings vast. Each story was unique, yet universal lessons echoed through all of them. Unity, courage, and understanding were key to survival and progress. This is what the Seekers meant, Aaron said softly. We must learn not just for ourselves but for all of Earth, to make the right choices when the time comes. The alien's presence pulsed beside them. You will learn more than observation. Soon you will communicate with beings beyond your comprehension. You will be tested. You will face challenges that your kind has never known. But you are ready. The key binds you to the knowledge and to your world. Together you will succeed. Weeks passed, though time in the Nexus felt strange, different. The explorers studied, observed, and recorded. They learned about interstellar diplomacy, technology that seemed magical, and ecosystems so advanced they defied human imagination. They practiced communication with alien species, understanding how to convey thoughts, emotions, and intentions clearly. Mira wrote in her notebook every day. The universe is not dangerous because of what exists, but because of how we respond. We must be careful, thoughtful, and united. Tomas tested simulations of alien machinery. Every tool, every system is designed to require cooperation. Alone we fail, together we succeed. The lessons are simple, but the meaning is profound. Lena learned to sense the pulse of the Nexus, feeling the energy of countless civilizations as it flowed through the station. It is like standing at the heart of the galaxy, she said. We can feel the choices, the struggles, the hopes of many worlds. Aaron guided them all. We are learning not to dominate, but to understand. This is the first true step of humanity among the stars. One day we will return and share this with our people. And then one day the alien approached them with a gentle glow. You have learned well. The time has come to return. Your journey among the stars has begun, and soon your world will follow. Take what you have learned, carry it with courage, and guide your kind toward unity. The galaxy watches and the universe awaits. The explorers stood together, the key still pulsing gently in Aaron's hands. They felt the weight of responsibility, but also the hope that had guided them since the first light rose from the desert. The ship moved toward Earth, carrying them safely through the stars. The pyramid's glow was visible even from orbit, a reminder of their journey and the message that humanity had sent. Mira spoke softly, gazing at the planet below. We are not alone, and now humanity has a chance to join the stars, to learn, to grow, to be better. Thomas nodded. And we must guide them carefully. There is danger, yes, but also hope. The choices we make now will shape the future. Lena reached for Aaron's hand, and we will face it together, as we always have. Aaron looked at the blue planet below, shining with life. Humanity is ready. The stars are open, and our journey has only begun. The vessel entered Earth's atmosphere, glowing as it descended. The pyramid in the desert pulsed brighter than ever, a beacon to the world. And above, in the endless sky, the first contact of humanity among the stars had become the beginning of a new era. Humanity's future was no longer limited to Earth. The journey beyond the stars had begun.